Hello students, standard 8 in physics chapter number 15, some natural phenomena. Now we are talking about the natural phenomena which is lightning. As we know that lightning occurs like huge sparks, and spark causes when the rubbing of two objects take place. So now in the last session we learned about the electric charges that are produced during rubbing. There are two types of charges, positive charges and negative charge also. Also we saw the interaction between charges, that the charges of similar types, they repel each other, while the charges of different types, they will attract each other. Means two positive charge will repel, two negative charge will repel each other. But if one positive and one negative charge, then they will attract each other. Also we learn about the electroscope. That is a device that is used to detect whether the object is charged or not charged. Now today we are going to talk about the story of lightning, means how the lightning takes place in the cloud during the rainy season. We saw that the lightning occurs due to rubbing. So now what is rubbing with each other there in the sky? So we are going to learn about it today. During a thunderstorm, the air currents move upwards while the water droplets move downwards. Generally, the air rushes toward the sky and the water droplets is coming down. Speed of both is very high, and therefore they have friction, rubbing with each other. These vigorous movement cause separation of charges, and therefore the charges are separated. As we talked, that positive charges and negative charges are produced because of that vigorous movement, and the rubbing takes place between them. So the both type of charges are getting separated. What happens then? This leads to the positive charges collect near the upper edges of the clouds. When the upper edges are there of the cloud, at that place the positive charge is getting collected. They are accumulating on the upper edge, and while the negative charge to accumulate near lower edges of the clouds. So at the upper edges the positive charge is getting collected, and at the lower edges the negative charges are getting accumulated. Now what happens? There is an accumulation of positive charges near the ground also. Near the ground, on the earth also, some of the positive charge is getting collected. And we know that positive and negative charges attract each other. So they will meet each other. And what happens? negative and positive charges meet, producing streaks of bright light and sound. So in this situation, when they meet each other, then they produce the sparkles and the light and the sound. The sound that we are hearing is the thunderstorms, and lightning and the sparkles or the light that we see during that thunderstorm is the lightning. So by this way the lightning is produced. So now what happens? The process of electric charges occur is known as the discharge. So the process is known as electric discharge. This process is known as discharge. And now this process of electric discharge between different clouds. Sometimes we see only the lightning in the sky. Why? Because that electric discharge takes place between clouds, or sometimes it also do between the clouds and the earth. Between different clouds or between clouds and the earth causes lightning. So when we see that lightning, generally most of time we will see the between the clouds. Why? Because that discharge takes place, electric discharge. So that discharge between different clouds. So when it is between different clouds, then we will see the lightning only in the sky. But when it is between the clouds and the earth, then the lightning can strike on the ground also, on the earth also, and then it causes disaster. So we have to be very, very careful about it. So now, as I told you, that the lightning strike cloud, destroy life and property. Not only life, property, everything can get destroyed. Because when the lightning is there, it falls on the building, then building also can be get damaged. It falls on the tree, then tree also get burned. It falls on the animals or the human beings, then because of the electric shock, we also can get die. So there are so many very, very dangerous effects of the lightning, and therefore we have to be very careful. So now, thus hearing the thunder. So now, how can we protect ourselves? That we are going to talk now. That during the thunderstorm, generally it happens in the rainy, heavy rain. That time only we see this type of phenomena in the cloud. So, how can we know that lightning will fall now? So, we know that the lightning and the thunderstorm generally produce together. But if you noticed properly, first you will see some sound also. Then you will see the sparkling also. So when you hear the sound of thunderstorm, then you have to get alert. It means that now lightning will come. Hearing thunder is an alert to rush to a safer place. So if you are outside somewhere and it starts the sound of the thunder, it means that you have to be alert. It is to be alert and rush to a safer place. Now, also, what we have to remember, that after hearing the last thunderstorm, wait for some time before coming out also. It means that when you are outside and if you hear the thunders, then immediately you have to look for a safer place and take shelter that place. Now, before you hear the last thunder, then after that also you have to wait a little, because maybe the lightning will come after that also. Now we talked that we have to go to the safer places. Now we will talk that what are the safer places that we are going to talk now. A house or a building is a safe place. When there is a strong house or the building, then that can be the safer place. But not always, sometimes it can be also. But better than we are outside. So if you are out inside, then you are nearly a safe place. If you are traveling by car or by bus, you are safe inside with windows and doors of the vehicle shut. It means that doors and windows of the vehicles must be shut. Then you are safer. So that are the safe places. A building or a house are the safe place. If you are traveling by bus or any vehicle like car, then your windows and doors must be shut. Then it is also a safer place. Now, if you are outside, then what should you do and what you shouldn't do? That also is very, very important. That also you have to keep in the mind. Open vehicles like motorbikes, cycle, etc., tractors, construction machinery, open cars are not safe. Because lightning can fall on you because you are open. So all the open vehicles like motorbikes, bicycle, open car, tractor, open jeep, etc., that is not as safe because you are exposed to the lightning. Open fields, tall trees, shelters in parks, elevated place do not protect us from lightning strokes. So don't take shelter under a big tree also, tall trees also. Open fields are also not safe. Shelters in parks. In park there are some small shelters are there, and that are also not the safer places. And elevated place also not protecting us. Carrying an umbrella is not at all a good idea during thunderstorm, because we know that the handle and that will be of the metal, then that can catch the electric shock and you can get shocked. Therefore, taking an umbrella during the thunderstorm is also not advisable. If in a forest, take shelter under shorter trees. Don't take shelter under the tall and big trees, because they are first to get that lightning and they can get burned. And if you are standing under that tree, you also, because the tree can fall and you also can get injuries. So don't take shelter under the tall tree, take shelter under the shorter trees. If no shelter is available and you are in an open field, if you are in open field, nothing is around it, then what can we do? Then we have to remember that stay far away from all trees. If there are trees only, then far away, because as I told you, trees can fall down, they can burn, and you also can get in danger. So stay far away from all trees. Stay away from poles or other metal objects. If there is a metal pole, stay away from it. If any metallic objects you see, very, very far you have to stay from that, because that metals are the good conductor of electricity. So when the lightning falls in it, it can catch that electric, and if you touch it, then you also can get that electric shock. So don't touch any metallic objects around there. Do not lie on the ground. Don't lie on the ground. Instead, squat low on the ground. It means that you have to sit like that. So you have to sit like that. Instead, squat low on the ground. Place hands on your knees with your hand between the hands, as I show you in the figure. That you have to squat low on the ground, place your hands to your knees with your head between the hands. This position will make you the smallest target to be struck. So it means that smallest target should we give to that lightning to fall if it is falling. So these are the very, very important thing when you are outside. But if you are inside the house, what precautions also should be taken? Inside the house, lightning can strike telephone cords. Telephone cords are coming in our house from outside. So that also electric wires and metal pipes. Right? Because we know that it have the lightning is an electric discharge. So that can come to that wires, and through the wires it can come to your house also. So stay away from these electric wires and telephone plugs, etc., etc. During a thunderstorm, contact with these should be avoided. Means the electric wires, telephone cords, whatever is coming from outside to the inside your house, then that also you should not touch. Stay away from them. It is safer to use mobile phones and cordless phones because they are not connected with the wires, any wires coming outside from the outside, and therefore mobile phones or cordless phones can be safer, but not the other phones like landline. However, it is not wise to call up a person who is receiving your phone through a wired phone. So when you use the mobile to mobile you can phone, but don't call somebody who is between the landline, means the phone with the wire. Also, bathing should be avoided during thunderstorm. When it is thunderstorm taking place, don't take bath. Bathing should be avoided to avoid contact with running water. Electrical appliances like computers, TVs, etc. should be unplugged. You have to unplug them when there is thunderstorm and lightning are taking place outside. So you have to unplug them. Electrical lights can remain on. They do not cause any harm. So that are the very, very thing that you have to be careful with. Because as we talked that lightning can be very, very dangerous. So you have to be careful and try. Don't get a panic. Don't get afraid. But think properly and take the proper decision so that you can save yourself. So whatever the precautions are there, that when you are open in the field, what to do, when you are in the vehicle, what to do, when you are in the house, what you have to do, what you don't have to do, that only keep in the mind, then you can protect yourself and your family and the others also. So we are going to finish the session. Will be followed by PDF, and any confusion write down in the comment section. Thank you very much.